Greetings, my fellow divine co-creative celestial beings of the now, or you guys, if I can go a bit slingy. This is Planet Collingwood here on Revolution Radio, Studio A. My name is Monty Dean, and you're awesome, let's be fair. It's very strange weather. How are you going? Big thank you to Why Not and Co. for the last 2 hours, for the Wi-Files. If you enjoyed the Wi-Files, I just like saying the Wi-Files. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to revolution.radio or freedomslips.com and donate what you can. Every bit helps, and we keep the station on air, which is needed in this moment of now because everything's a bit guano. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Yeah, a bit. Yeah, and it's good to have a home to come back to and that's what they're talking about this week. And this is a comedy show, so hopefully there's some laughs and levity and a hint of information so we can hide it from the alphabet agencies, except for Gary, who decides that he's going to take the shift for Planet Collingwood every Wednesday morning because he likes the show. G'day, Gary. How you going? Once you're at the website, pop into the Zazzle store and buy some T-shirts and cups and so forth. There's also the Patreon link that you can help out the station with. And then you've got the chat room as well, which like-minded, like-hearted, just liked people, dare I say loved. And tonight's show is brought to you by Q-Heal, or Q-Heal. Their website is q-heal.com, which is a wonderful Paul Williams, who's a hypnotherapist as well as the QHHT practitioner, which was a technique created by Dolores Cannon over 40 years. I actually had a session with him last week. And yeah, it's fascinating. Talk to your subconscious/higher self, and I realized most of the questions I asked I've been answered 4 or 5 years ago. But it's fun. So, we made a deal. It was above board. No brown paper bag in the back house there type thing. And so, yeah, I'll be sponsored by Q-Heal for about 6 months, if I can say it like that. Now, if you'd like to join myself and my 3 guests, it is Monty_Dean on the old Skypey-wipey. We have sacrificed small animals to the internet gods. The goddess Connectivitus. I've invented the name, but I can't say it. But she has her twin boys, Downloadius and Updatius. So just give me a message and I'll add you to the call. I have been joined by Bruce MacDonald, John Wayne, not the actor, and Eagle Eye. So, gentlemen, I will start with the first name on the list, Miss MacDonald, Mr. MacDonald, from the MacDonald clan. How you be, lad?
I'm all in, Monty. I'm all in for King and God.
Oh, of course. We won't say which king, and that will make the audience keep wondering. Anubis.
King of the Druids.
Yeah. Or get the fix. Well, Phil died, so yeah, it's not him. We'll get to that, of course. An old friend of the show. We joined Revolution Radio back in it was January 2000 and something, and on the same week. So we were traded occasionally, but we're on the team. And please welcome John Wayne, not the actor. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me on tonight with you guys. And it's been 8 years, and we're gonna keep doing this thing and informing the masses. You do it with comedy, I do it with seriousness, but I mean, I can chuckle too. I laugh at things. I'm not just complete, stone-hearted, but, a lot of things going on, man. A lot of things.
Oh, yes. And someone who didn't leave from the last show, because I super glued him to the chair and then gaffer taped him and then used some hockey straps.
He's daisy chaining these round tables.
Well, that adhesive super glue does work. Eagle Eye has not left. He's still here. Mr. Eye, or should I call you Eagle?
I like the second one there, my friend. Good to hear you. Good to hear you too, Bruce, John. What's been going on, Monty? I picked up some news today. A lot of things happening in Australia, man. Something going on with the Prince Philip's signing his book as he dies, and some bad energy with some lady, and some Morrison talking to someone about some watches. and I heard a couple of other things. I mean, what's going on in your country with politics and people talking about things? Am I just baffled at what I've heard, or do you know about this?
No idea. I mean, I live here, but it's Australian politics. It's like, and so the Prime Minister, who is from marketing, I'm sure he offended somebody, and someone else offended it. Blah blah blah. But
yeah, Parliament. Yeah, there was a little bit of a shake about some things. Seems like you guys are shuffling some groups over there. So who knows?
Oh, exactly. Who knows? Because I don't. Mainly because if you've ever seen Australian Parliament, and Bruce, I wouldn't, after I've done my little rant here, it'd be interesting to see how the Canadian Parliament stacks up to the Australian Parliament. But the Australian Parliament is like, we refer to it as a primary school playground, but it's like an elementary playground where 7-year-olds are trying to have big penis energy, if that makes sense. And so it's like, well, my dad can beat up your dad. Cool. When, and it's really, they're honorable, which is odd. And, but they're full of corrupt wankers, and they all suck. So that's, I really don't care about the Australian politics. Bruce, from your memory of and it doesn't have to be this last year, but in the decades, what's the Canadian Parliament like? Is it just full of childish wankers that just crave the spotlight?
It smells like bacon fat.
Ooh. You can smell that through television? Wow.
it's an unexciting place by the Ottawa River. I mean, I grew up by it, and it's governed by a tyrant now who is the biological sire of Fidel Castro. There's a brief update with Canada, and I think he's running North America. I think he's a big player in this globalist thing, man. Because he was holding the line through the 4 years of Trump, right? So he's a star player now.
I think he's been told he's a big player, but he's just a puppet. Could have his strings cut quite well, because Biden is just extremely terrible. Someone who's not terrible, and let's find out if he still has his pet snail, is Cortek. How are you, Cortek?
Hello. Is it working?
Yes, you're on, and due to daylight savings, it's been a week. You know what's going on.
So early.
Yeah, I know. The sun's still up.
It's crazy.
Do you know Eagle Eye brought up something about the Australian politics, and my brain just went, "Turn yourself off now."
Yeah, don't pay much attention to Scotty from marketing. They'll all be shuffling around here and there, but that's only to see who stabs the next person in the back. It's not really.
We've had 8 prime ministers in 10 years, strangely enough, since Twitter started. It's like, but yeah, that's the Australian apathy towards politics in this country. Really? Okay.
Doesn't seem to attract the best and brightest among us.
No, they're easily fooled. Yeah.
They were talking about the mail. They were going to raise the cost of mail from Melbourne to Darwin, and it was a big controversy to do that. That's all I remember.
Yeah, because well, that's the thing. That it's very similar to, I guess, from the US mail, where it's been there forever, and it was a government department. Then they sold it off because idiots got involved, and so they're trying to cut back, have budget cuts, but no one's using them because they suck. And so it's that thing of like, well, we'll have to raise the price, and your delivery may take longer. It's like, well, it takes longer now. So and you have to pay for that privilege.
Are they trying to privatize the mail?
I think I think it already is. So it's hard. It's an easier game of what do the people of Australia still own. We lost our telecommunications. Cortek, you remember Clark and Dorr, those comedians?
No, not really.
Oh, geez, where have you been?
Anyway, go on.
They were awesome. It's like, they sold Telstra to the people. Who owns Telstra? The people. So they're selling us our own
those
thing.
two old dudes. Yeah.
It's just great. Where it's what is the result of World War One, World War Two? Correct. So they sold it was Telecom, but then they changed it to Telstra, and then they sold it off. We used to have a federal bank called the Commonwealth Bank. They sold that off. Here in Victoria, we had the State Electrical Commission. They sold that off. And it's just that classic thing of we're in debt, so we'll just sell off all the assets of the government and then wonder why taxes are through the roof because we're not making any money.
It seems like a brief fix, and then down the road you're going to pay. So
yes, like I may have mentioned, I am from a public transport family, and here in Melbourne, the Chinese government run the trains and the French government run the trams. Yeah. It's like, our transport minister here in Victoria is like, well, why wouldn't you take over the operation of the tramways? Why would I do that? I don't know, Minister for Transport. Idiots.
Privatizing the mail. What are they going to do next? Try to privatize space?
Oh, they're getting to that. Oh, apparently Australia is starting up their own space agency. Like, yay. I mean, we've got the space for it, but Australians in space? Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be awesome. What are you talking about? Let's go. Let's go.
Dave's still doing doughies around Venus. Well, he's got to get back here. We're meeting up with the Yanks.
Otherwise, he said he's just got to dump the fuel. He said he thought he might as well get the driving practice. It's not just doughies.
Now, Jabba, come on. I mean, I'm not the first one to dump their cargo with the Imperial cruisers coming along. I mean, stop with the Star Wars jokes. You're fired. Oh, damn it. So,
I mean, I've almost seen something to where like Star Wars thought processes. I mean, it's really weird. So watching the stuff going on up in Portland, which has never really stopped over the past year, and they just don't talk about it no more on the news. And just the reference to the stormtroopers and this and that. I mean, what is it about the psyche of that's ingrained in people? And I mean, I don't know. I'm just the country's really weird. I mean, our country over here in the States, it's really damn weird right now.
Yeah, well, being an outsider, I mean now, but you are correct, it's worse now compared to other. But the fascinating thing is with the United States is, and not mind control, but this is they've warped the idea where it's like Europe. You have the European Union, you actually have the American Union, where the states are actual countries, or the colonies in the countries, and then they decided to form together the federal government to tell King George III where to stick it. And so it flip-flops from that to that. Even here in Australia, I think it was the 5 states at the time, like, hey, you guys want to join and become a country? All right. You're not allowed to ever leave, and you will have powers taken away from him. Oh, I don't know. Shut up and get it. It took forever to get federation. New Zealand was going to be part of the Australian Federation, and this is in 1890, and it takes 3 hours by plane today. So I can see why, like, what will be our own country, because it would probably take 2 days to get anywhere. But it's fascinating, like the basic premise of Star Wars. George Lucas, it's psychological based, and it's the hero's journey. And it's, I guess, with Bruce would actually know because he's closer to closer to the action. Our Costa Rica correspondent, they're told that America is a better country than the crap hole they're coming from. And it's kind of weird. You look at the media and some social activists in America saying, no, it's terrible. In America saying, it's terrible. There's a nice echo in the background there.
Yeah.
You give me one guy in the United States who can write Spanish in 10 carrier pigeons, and I can end this migration. They just need the real information.
Yeah. Don't come here. Joe Biden is full of caca.
Muy bueno. Tu cabrón dice mucho mentiras a tú. Es mierda aquí. No trabajo, no nada.
I wish there were subtitles, but that will kind of ruin it because it's an audio medium.
Well, I mean, there's videos coming out of like Kensington, Pennsylvania, or Kensington Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I mean, it literally looks like the slums of industrial London. I mean, it's in pale comparison to what the country I thought where my country was going to go in the future, or what it would resemble or look like compared to when I was a child. But I mean, here we are now, and who do we have to thank for all this? I mean, there's a lot of people, right? But it's still being allowed.
Yeah, right, the latest one would be, I like how Stephen Crowder refers to him, former Vice President Joe Biden, because who knows who won the election. But you could just see, like, in 3 months, is it 3 months? Just this year alone, how much America has changed, where the virtual signaling of Trump, orange man bad, because I think it's just the mean tweets. That was the only problem, because everything else is basically made it worse, where our unemployment's going through the roof, gasoline's through the roof, blah, 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 blah. I mean, was it the first or second day that he cans the Keystone Pipeline? And that, I think that upset Canada of like, mother lover what?
Well, well, there's all big deals behind closed doors with other companies, and it's all foreign national based. It's not, stateside. I mean, my country's being sold down the river, but then again, look how much turmoil. I mean, we could say the United States has caused across the world over the past 253 years. I'm at peace because there has to be a grand design to all this, right? These things must have got to have happened for some reason, even though we don't see any of it right now. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm like almost at a loss for words for what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I mean, being an outsider, it's kind of easier to poke fun at the United States. But that's part of the culture in the United States. You pledge allegiance to the flag, or you used to. Who knows with these, the Marxist Antifa and all that. We hate this country. Then leave.
Right. They're tunneling in from the construction site down south there. United Nations construction.
Oh yeah, I like that. Where apparently Razor Fist, who's been kicked off Twitch, for those keeping it score, he's on D Live now. He said a bundle of sticks, but in the shorter version of it, and someone got him kicked off. Ooh. Anyway, this needs citation. However, I believe that the National Guard is going into Brooklyn Center, or in Minnesota, or wherever the rioting is happening.
I don't think currently right now. I mean, I was following a live feed. I think it's pretty much calmed down compared to what it was. It didn't really get too much out of control tonight, but that's just, like I said, I think that's a prelude to what we're going to see come summertime.
Oh, that is true, because what I think it's not an election year, so that's why it feels off. If it was an election year, it's like that usually thing. And very quickly, and then Bruce follow up. They're starting to rebuild, finish the wall on the southern border. So I'm wondering how many things that they're the whole Trump was right angle. Go ahead, Bruce.
So is there any ancillary rioting, or is it just Minneapolis? Have any other cities rioted in sympathy? Is LA rioting? Is New York rioting? Is Chicago rioting? Is Philadelphia rioting? Is Cincinnati rioting?
I haven't heard anything, but I did see videos from around the country where people were out in the streets walking, but, not causing any riffraff.
So there's no national movement. There's our evidence. I mean, so just take a big breath of deep air and realize that BLM is not that big a cat on the block. Okay, so they're trying to string it together, but it's getting so clumsy the way they have to do it now with all of these what seem to be staged incidents and really sympathy lacking incidents. I mean, I don't have too much sympathy for the first guy. And this guy had outstanding warrants for weapons, and he ran from the police. I mean, if the police don't shoot at a guy who has outstanding weapons warrants, they already know from their database the guy could be armed. He's running. I mean, what are they asking for? A get out of jail free card?
Well, yeah, they actually are. Actually, they want to abolish jails completely, and it's like, are you insane? It's got this thing of like, apparently any black person can get away with anything because the police are hunting and killing them, and it's like, it's not a what's his name? Who did The Thing? It's not a John Carpenter film from 1985 where it's like, we're hunting the dangerous animal of all, man. It's like, that's the narrative they put forward. However, people I see this adds to the bigger question of what's really going on in the planet, because everyone's losing their collective minds. They're agitated. I think a year of lockdown / pandemic where who knows what's right? Follow the science. Well, which one? The scientists that get banned for saying a certain truth, or the narrative? And also what didn't help, did you see this in the last week? One of the leaders of Black Lives Matter, who apparently they're all Marxists, has bought a $1.2 million mansion in Los Angeles.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, people like us are like, well, yeah, we knew this, but it's for the normies, the muggles. They're like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, what was I saw $87 million was just found to put these poor migrants up in these hotels, and I mean, there's stories behind why they're coming up here, and not all of them. I mean, like, obviously they're not sending their scientists and their teachers. And
yeah, that is true. Yeah. We're not going to get an Einstein. Hello, I am from Honduras.
But like the grand picture of like looking at everything that's going on. I mean, I'm adamant that I believe they're getting people acclimated to seeing people in camps. So it's like, oh yeah, the camp out on the edge of town where they've got people. Yeah, that's normal. And that's where they want to take us.
Add to that, taking away the guns as well. See, I don't know if this is a well-coordinated plan because these people are idiots, but you can see like a narrative unfolding, if that makes sense, where send them up there. You've got illegals. They're not even testing them from COVID. Basically by their actions are destroying their words, if that makes sense, because you've got thousands of people, because apparently once Trump lost, we can go to America now because, Biden is terrible, basically, the terrible person. He's weak. And, Biden said, come and look after you. It's like, you got to finish the sentence but fill out the forms. And that's what the thing about Trump was. It's like he wasn't. I hate how people, you're against immigration. No, I'm against illegal immigration. Trespassers. Ooh. If they fill out forms, and that includes refugee status, they're totally fine. And I love, in a weird way, I love seeing actual immigrants that went through the process and got a green card. Years and thousands of dollars to actually get American citizenship and allowed into their country that they love, and they've worked really hard for it. And then Biden says, "I just walk across the border and get in for free." It's like, excuse me.
That's a slap in the face, man. The people that went through the full format process of becoming a legalized citizen, and like you said, it just doesn't happen magically overnight.
No. Some people's like, I think it's the movie Canadian Bacon, where they actually have Jello Biafra as an American Border Patrol guy in the northern border, and it's brilliant because you can see the comedy because it's Jello Biafra, and he's like, "Why should I let you into my country?" Well, I live here. All right. It's probably the only good bit of it.
Don't we like Canadian bacon on a pizza though?
I don't know if I had any Canadian bacon. I just eat bacon.
And why do they call it Canadian bacon?
It's from Canada. It's the English language, Eagle. The information's in the title. Someone shared a meme, and I agree with it. It's like, did you know bacon is 73% fat and salty. And underneath it's like, so am I, bacon, so am I.
And Bruce said the Canadian Parliament's made out of it. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then you have our Lord and Savior Bill Gates, who wants us to eat fake meat. And if anyone's seen Soylent Green...
I have.
Soylent Green is people.
Soylent Green Wednesday.
Fake.
Yeah. I mean, like...
meat. Ooh.
Yeah, well, if it's plant-based, it still makes sense. But still, I'm going to go a bit spiritual. How do you know there isn't a spiritual contract with certain animals to feed humanity?
Mm-hmm.
They gave us fake news. Now they're giving us fake meat. Come on.
Yeah, and I mean, Bill Gates is like, he watched The Simpsons. Is like, I want to be that guy. What, Mr. Burns? Yeah, he's my hero because he wants to dim the sun. He's buying up all this land. He wants to control the food supply. He wants to create fake meat. He is going heavily into vaccines. And my question is, aren't you just a software developer? Like,
right.
What are you doing?
He put a stamp on his ass and started calling him God. You know what I mean? That's
about 3 months ago. In one day, 5 articles about Bill Gates came out, and they're all completely different from each other. One of them was, what does Bill Gates listen to? What's his playlist on Spotify? And I'm like, why do I care?
Did you look?
Yeah, and what is... no, I don't care. Like, Bill Gates listens to this. That's nice.
The introduction to War of the Worlds, Depopulation 101. I mean, what does a guy like that listen to, honestly? You know what I mean?
Yeah. War of the Worlds is a great documentary, Mr. Gates. Yes, it is a documentary. Ooh la. The chances
it's the end of the world. As
the chances of something coming from Mars was 1,000 to 1. Ooh la. Oh, yeah. Putts. And the weird thing, who's know what, because he's the elite, he's somehow connected to the Epsteins and the royal family. I remember where he had a meeting with all these other billionaires, and I guess it was like Zuckerberg or whatever his name is, and Oprah and all that. And the meeting of the super friends, it was like, I think you misread what the super friends, they're not. They may be friends, but they're not super. Like billionaires, like, what we need to do to rule the world. Yeah. You know that scene from Dr. Strangelove? Yeah, I can see Bill Gates being in a wheelchair. What we need is 8 women and 12 strapping young men, and they will enter the bunker.
Oh, man.
And his wife's really weird. That's what I remembered as well. It seemed they've done a wife swap where his wife, Melinda, looks like a man and Bill looks like a woman. I don't know if Team Dark have done a clone swap. The Prime creator's gone, this will be funny. It's a Mandela effect. The Earth's, we're getting a cross-pollination of different realities or something. It's like, what's going on?
Right. What happened? We got Pete Rose and an upside-down cross,
See, now, I don't know why. I think it's in that book that I can't talk about. But the whole thing about Pete, I know someone, the way that someone's shared all the way that the apostles died. And I'm like, ooh, what karma do they have by hanging out with JC? And one of them was hung, I can't be crucified the same way as our Lord. What are you, nuts? You're going to die. You're going to die quicker with a headache because you're going to be upside down and all the blood's going to rush into your head. Anyway.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they still carry out all them types of punishments in areas around the world, and I mean, maybe to a point, I mean, at a point in time in this country, I mean, if you, stole a horse or did anything unfathomable, people generally found themselves at the end of a, short rope on a long drop. And, this country's went extremely soft in the belly, and then you have this political correctness bullshit, which is further division within that realm, right? I mean, the people that do the horrendous crimes aren't even brought to account.
two-tier civilization where if I get busted with a gram of weed, I can end up, depending on what state I'm in the United States, I can spend 8 years in a state penitentiary. And then you have all of Wall Street's like, I collapsed Bernie Mac or Bernie May or whatever it is, and hundreds of thousands of people lost all their houses, and I benefit from that, and I paid a fine.
Mm-hmm. Or you can just steal the entire damn country. I mean,
or actually, a guy, a black man that had like less than a gram of weed, had 8 years in a state penitentiary, and then Hunter Biden went on to national television and said, "I'm sorry," and was given all this money. It's like, you're a crack addict. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he was such. He's such a crack addict. He smoked Parmesan cheese.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's in the interview. It's like, yeah, it's so bad I smoked Parmesan cheese. It's like, yeah, man, he's a cheesehead.
It makes me think of Cheech and Chong, the woman that snorted the Ajax, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Or there's a Robin Williams, Robin Williams gag where it's like, yeah, try this cocaine. Oh, I'm bleeding. What is it? Oh, fiberglass. Like, I didn't think you'll notice. Yeah, I just love bleeding all this way. And I love.
You're on fire tonight, buddy.
Yeah, yep. I haven't had any wine, so like, hey, all right. A great Robin Williams gag as well. Remember, cocaine is God's way of saying you own too much money.
I mean, but it is a sad reality of the reality of things, because people will do whatever they're told that it is. I mean, a perfect example. Get this shot; it's going to save your life. Okay, I'm gonna get you. I'll jump right on that.
If you survive it, yeah. There's some wriggle room with that. It skipped animal trials. It technically is gene therapy. Sign this waiver where you can't actually. Someone shared a meme of like, what do I sign this for? So you can't sue. I can't remember how this. I can't remember exactly.
When we were younger, it wasn't take a shot. It was let's do a shot. Jägermeister, peppermint schnapps.
Oh yeah, I love drinking. Oh yeah, you buy some Jägermeister, and then the next day the RGB is a interesting. That's an after grog bog if you need to what an RGB is. You drink a liqueur. Is it a liqueur, Jägermeister? But it's from Europe, and there's like 50 different herbs and spices in it. So your colon says hello the next day. Let me tell you.
It's a potent shot. That's just
Jägermeister. Hi-yo.
Yeah. And here in Australia, they're slowing, or they've stopped giving the AstraZeneca, whatever that one is, the one that sounds like a really bad car, the AstraZeneca virus for under 50, because 2 people got blood clots from it. Yeah, but it's extremely rare. Tell the people that got it, you twat. And in the United States, I think they're stopping the Johnson & Johnson one, and it just reminds me, what's Johnson slang for? Yeah, can I have one of those penis shots, thanks.
Oh, phallic object.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it is a sterilization program and depopulation program that they're running with this. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny Malta, she's done some absolutely brilliant interviews with different hosts in the alternative media circuit, and anybody in their absolute right mind would not take this thing. As far as I can see, I don't know, man. I just, free will, I guess. If you want to do it, hey, have at it. What happens to you? Hey, I ain't responsible for that.
Yeah, just 6 feet. Remember, if you hey, you do you, pal. You have a vaccine. 6 feet. Don't shed near me. And it's weird. Like, really, Johnson and Johnson? Yes, the same company that's been constantly taken to court over how cancer-causing talcum powder. I'm shocked.
Who would have thought?
I know there's no connection at all. That yeah.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah, and that's it's fascinating.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. How was fascinating? Heyo. I mean, like, is there a delay?
Johnny Carson.
It so works.
Oh, so
Ed McMahon.
There's 4 decades delay between Bruce and I. Yeah. I'm thinking of. That's when late night comedy shows were funny.
Yeah. Way back in the day.
Yeah. I like the Simpsons joke where, like, even he retired, he came out and did his voice for the Simpsons, and he's tap dancing, juggling while holding a Chrysler on his head because Johnny can do anything.
I mean, it makes me think of Carlin, right? I mean, Carlin, he got a lot of laughs, but come to find out, they weren't really jokes. They were poignant points that he was making, and we're living some of them right now.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine if George Orwell was alive today? It's like, what are you people doing? Like, I'm not sure. Not a big fan of the idea of heaven. I know there's something else after some people free their existence on the 3D. But can you imagine Huxley and I just said his name. Huxley and Orwell having a conversation while watching what's happening on Earth. It's like, well, I was half right. Yeah, so was I.
Right. Well, I mean, where we find ourselves is pretty interesting times. I mean, and it's like, is there any way that it can be reverted or turned backwards or fixed? And I don't think so. I really don't. I mean.
It'll be a Hail Mary, not biblical or divine intervention, but it could be just one thing. Who knows what that one thing is? Where it could be someone is a whistleblower for the Federal Reserve, and that changes the whole economic thing of like, we've been screwing you for over 120 years or whatever. Like, what? It could be that level. Just the hypocrisy of the Biden administration, where Kamala Harris is just waiting. And one way of just seeing, like I mentioned to a couple of people in the last day or two, the way that people reacted when Prince Philip died, where it's how are we going to free humanity when a lot of these people still revere him as a god? He fought Nazis. Yeah, so did Stalin. Did you think of that?
The world will be upside down. Who's going to replace Prince Philip? That's a big slot.
He's gonna come back as a virus. I mean, if it's all said and done how he wanted it to be said and done.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we did lose a stunt double for Emperor Palpatine. That is true. But I'm glad that his granddaughter-in-law called him a racist before I'm glad his granddaughter-in-law called him a racist before he died. So there is that.
But what if they replace Prince Philip with like Jussie Smollett or something?
Jussie? Who's Jussie?
Oh, you mean that French actor, Jussie Smollett?
What are you talking about?
Well, apparently,
I was Jossie's girl.
Yeah, the one that went out in Chicago winter to Subway at 2:45 in the morning and bumped into the only Nigerian rednecks in Chicago in the middle of winter. At 20 degrees below Celsius or below freezing, and found out it was mega country.
Yeah, I think they got that witch turned up to 9.5, man, on the MK Ultra odometer. Think Winter Soldier in the movie when he gets electrified again. She's spooky. Some of the quotes I'm seeing surface on her now, I think this is a joke, like somebody made this up. I dig in a little bit. She really said it. And it's really the mindset of a rap. See, this is what they're doing. I'm telling you guys. Nobody listens to me because they think the Canadian doesn't know. They're seeding these radicals, man. Justin Trudeau is the same sort of psychotic radical. He was raised in this stuff, right? He is the perfect political soulmate for Justin Trudeau to run North America. They're almost like a progressive king and queen now.
Yeah.
And that's the way you should be seeing it. And when that bitch takes center stage, man, that's when you want to be sandbagging around your house.
Rally around the family with a pocket full of shells. And I'll give you a good example of the Trudeau's Canada. They sent 200 police to a church because they had the audacity to meet in a room and praise their God.
Unbelievable.
Have you seen the footage of it's like Hans, are we the baddies? It's that level of like, wait a minute, sorry. It's like, you can't, we don't want any of that praying to God crap. How dare you actually acknowledge the prime creator? What do you think this is?
You guys can...
Go ahead, Bruce.
Are we good? All right. So you guys can see the big program going here, right? Because it's really important that you see the big picture and what's really going on here. And you don't nibble on any of their bait lines, because bait lines are set up to catch you, not to provide free food. You follow? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this whole thing is being set up on every dimension, okay? So on the one hand, they will not prosecute black people even for murder now, practically. Okay, so black people are exonerated from all responsibility for action. And our good friend there, Eagle Eye in Arizona, pointed out the Jussie Smollett case as an example. Nothing happened to that guy, and Kamala Harris was instrumental in that. Simultaneously, they're going out of their way to use the lockdown to police in a very visibly imbalanced way, and it is directed against white Christians. And the Life Grace Church in Alberta, Canada, which is the Montana of Canada, by the way, if you don't know Canada, is an example of that kind of excessive policing. This church is out in the middle of nowhere. It's huge. It's like built like a cattle warehouse. It's just a bit one of those big steel farming structures that can fit like 1,000 people in it. They could easily do a 300-400 person service and maintain all the codes of the lockdown, 6 feet apart and everything. But they're just doing it to show it, right? Then you got our guys here at Rev Radio, and this is the final caveat, okay? This is the intellectual dimension to it. So they're telling you viscerally and emotionally by imbalanced policing, leniency for blacks, crackdown on white Christians. At an intellectual level, they're going to make the people like LB and Mike Gaddy sound like racist maniacs. And they're setting that whole intellectual stage right now. Now, here's a curious thing. When Obama went to Netflix and got that huge deal after his presidency, he and Michelle got this multi-million-dollar deal to consult with Netflix. And who knew what that was about, right? But you're starting to see the fruits of it now, okay?
Even Spotify as well.
Yeah. One of the effects of this is a miniseries they did, narrated by Will Smith, all black, deliberately targeted at the black audience. It's called The 14th. Or is it called The 14th or Amend 14 or something like that? If you look around a little bit for it on Netflix, you'll find it. And it's informing black people what the 14th Amendment did for them. And and they're presenting the legal person and the tax person and the citizenry and the personhood as the best thing since sliced bread. And they're setting this up to be the intellectual counterpoint to the common law perspective and to the birth certificate trap system. So this is the entire container. And when you see what's going on, from that, make your moves. And here's the seed of this, the way to win any fight, okay? Never react. Always stay active. So when you think apply it to a chess game. the moment you're reacting to your opponent and he's forcing or she's forcing moves on you, you've lost the game, right? So the principle in life is to stay active. What we're doing a lot on Rev Radio and other alternative media is we're nibbling on the bait line a lot. I'll tell you what, and that's just, they're just playing to your baser instincts, man. You need to get some transcendent thinking here, because I guarantee you there's a patois version of Bruce MacDonald in the Jamaican community in New York explaining exactly to his black friends what I'm explaining to you, my white friends. This is all they're just playing everybody, man. And right. Don't play into it, right?
Absolutely. I agree. And something, like seeing her stand behind Biden all the time whenever he's up there talking, wherever he's at, or wherever he could be. Somebody said a few years ago, before it was even that she was running or whatever the case was, somebody was like, they're holding her up in high regard, and I can't remember who it was there on the station. They're like, oh yeah, man, she looks like she'd be great, and this and that'd be, just wonderful. And I'm like, man, the first time I ever saw a picture of her, she was wearing a red dress, or a business suit, or whatever, a red lady suit, or whatever you want to call these things. And I've always been told, the devil is a lady in a red dress. And it looks just flat out evil, man. She's got some extremely nefarious plans.
Well, yeah, apparently there's the clock is still running on, she still hasn't gone down to the border. And if you want to see some fantastic debating, just look at her during the, when you pick the candidate, whatever that is, the debates, the
preliminary, the debate, where they got everybody up there.
So you choose the nominee for to run against the president. The 4 minutes of Tulsi Gabbard destroying her credibility on stage, eviscerating her with a toothpick, and then separating all her bones. I'm getting graphic. Tulsi just takes her to town, just by expressing facts. And I think from that point, she dipped out of the running because she was utter crap. And then Biden ended up with the nomination because Bernie pulled a Bernie. I'm not running for president anymore. No refunds. I'll be at one of my many houses. Okay. And so Biden needed a running mate, and all the Bernie bros were pissed off. So who filled all the boxes? Someone that can control narrative, minority, whatever it is, a woman. Oh, Kamala. And that's how she got there. She filled out boxes. And who knows about her personal life. Because tonight's show is also brought to you by Kamala Harris knee pads. Because when you want to get ahead in life, you need protection.
Hi-yo!
Her prerequisite activities.
Yes, yeah. It's like, oh, she's nice. Yeah, is she a good politician? No idea.
Get your Silicon Valley strap-ons.
This one's got Wi-Fi. Dearie me. So yeah, we are. Bruce has dropped off. So hey yo. So yeah, we do live in. May you live in interesting times. If I find the Chinaman who, it's not being racist. It's an idea, but it's interesting where it's more than one reality. Where like it's the end time. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times. It's the end times. It's the beginning. Like
Monty.
Is someone channel surfing reality right now? Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Did you mentioned The Simpsons earlier? Did you hear about Abu's apology tour?
Apu, yeah, I think I mentioned that. Yeah, Hank Azaria apologized because he voiced a non-white character, and it's like, really, an actor's acting.
What I find fascinating is that all of a sudden, 2021, we got a lot of people using the word apologize. Where did that come from? Who put that here?
Well, that fits right there, right beside the reparations.
Oh, yeah. Hey, John, have you heard my thing about reparations? I agree with reparations. Yes, give money to the descendants of black slaves. However, there's a condition. 98% First Nation tax. 98% of the money goes to the First Nations.
Right.
What do you reckon?
You know, and I mean, and honestly, if there were to be any reparations at all, it should go to the Native American community.
Oh, and the Irish,
subjugated, and absolutely the Irish.
Yes.
You know, those that were. I mean, this country's got some ass backwards priorities, man. I mean, flat out.
In Ireland, there are political groups that are pushing the whole Black Lives narrative, and it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you can stand with the black slavery and the Africans and everyone else because you were treated exactly the same, but it's like, no, it's fine, we'll be all right. Those black buggers had a hell of a time. We took it on the chin. We took our lumps. It's like, shut up. That's still that English mentality of like, we're not good enough. It's like, yes, you bloody are. Now, also, that's only a small population of Ireland and the Irish. Please don't think I'm going to upset the Irish because they'll beat the living crap out of it. 7 different colours of crap out of it. Oh, you're trying to be funny, are you? Boom, boom, boom.
Get the shillelagh.
Hey, I've got a stick here with your name on it, and a clump of your hair too. Sorry about that.
It's the Donna Shillelagh ukulele.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, when I was growing up, like Irish jokes. It doesn't matter, like blonde jokes, Irish jokes, Polish jokes. They're just jokes, and you need someone to make fun of. But Irish jokes, and that's all English. English comedies, like what did the Irishman say? It's to keep them in their place. And you wonder why they don't mention they actually had a revolution in 1922 and told the English to get out, except for the northern bit. And it depends on what part of the narrative, because like we were freedom fighters, but to the English they were terrorists. And then and then they had a revolution.
Yeah. And it even carries on into like more modern society. What in the mid 1980s, early 1990s, you know, the Irish car bombs, the hand grenades thrown into crowds, and and people don't talk about any of that stuff. Oh, because it's bygone era. No, man, no, it's not. Look,
and of course it's so. And do you know how the Irish refer to those? It's so Irish, and I love it. You mean the Troubles? Really? Civil War? Oh, just the Troubles. Like, well, at least you're accepting it. And I think 2001, 9/11, or as the rest of the world would call it, 11/9, the day goes first. I think when that happens, like the IRA is like, did you see what's on the television? Yeah. Do you want to sit down and talk to the British? All right then, because everyone else is very upset right now. So we'll just have a chat and we'll compromise because there's other things to worry about.
Well, now that they had taken the gold out of the basement, so they needed to nuke all the asbestos.
Well, if you want to delve into, mate, are we due? We should pick a day, and so September. September's the 9th, so March 11. We should do like a 9/11 annual catch up for new listeners, because I mean it's multifaceted. According to the Galactic Historian, it was everything. 9/11, every timeline's involved. It was that intense that the Prime Creator's gone, wait a minute, what was that noise? Because it's just everything cutters? Like the box cutters. We call them Stanley Lives here in Australia, and which is like an inch blade. Oh, we took over you're telling me ex-military pilots didn't do anything while skinny Middle Eastern men with a 1-inch blade that would probably, you would have to stand still and allow him to cut your artery. You could just punch him in the throat and you drop it. There are so many things where it's like, well, if you want to talk conspiracy theory, just look at the official story of 9/11. 19 guys got in planes.
And you just said stand still, so all I could think about there was Building 7.
And by God, the whole buildings, the planes destroyed, fire, everything paper floating everywhere, and by God, we can find the one passport from one guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. And do you know what?
Come on,
Mr. Wayne, we should actually start building black boxes out of those passport. Because
and guess what? And the insurance payoff to Mr. Silverstein was kept private.
Oh, nothing sus. Nothing sus. Also, I do know what happened to Building 7. It was actually peer pressure because it saw all the attention that the Building 1 and 2 were getting, and so it decided, well, I'm going to fall down too. What about me? We are only halfway, so we've got another hour of this. So you're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. I think we're piling on comedy, which is quite good. So stick around after these messages. We'll be back to point and laugh at most things, but in a nice, polite way. See you soon. Yes, that's right. Our opinions are our own here on Revolution Radio. And I say to you, pineapple does go on pizza. Don't make me come out in the car park and fight for you. It's been going on pizza since the early 60s, and German television. That's when the first Hawaiian pizza was created, on German television. Those wacky krauts. You're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. I have been joined by Cortek, John Wayne, as well as Eagle Eye. Bruce MacDonald is floating about. He has a life, ladies and gentlemen. Unlike myself, where he does things. I just sit here and talk. I should get paid. Anyway, so if you enjoyed the last hour, remember Revolution Radio was 100% listener supported and 100% volunteers. So if you can spare a couple of shekels, we don't accept children. We're not the Democratic Party. Come on now. Donate what you can to the station at freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio. Click on the patron and be part of the Revolution Radio family. John, actually, do you want to quickly pump out? We'll do this at the end as well, but do you want to share when your show is on?
Oh, sure. I broadcast every Saturday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and my broadcast is called The Unequivocal Truth, DEFCON 1. We are in Defense Condition 1, and I am John Wayne.
Not the actor. Yeah. I just like saying that. And he said...
Oh, no, you're fine.
He never said no, so that's why... Because it makes sense, because, time traveler, there's another famous John Wayne who did films. And, have you seen that the woke mob have been trying to cancel John Wayne because of his ideas and what's the other word I'm looking for? What he said back in the 70s and blah blah blah. And
or he's a white male with testosterone, Monty. Let's be honest.
Oh no. Well, he did say stuff from the 1970s where he referred to a certain group of people in their slang term or something ridiculous like that.
Right. Well, then people that believe and want that to happen, they can continue to. They can continue to stare at their smartphones and take a long walk off a short pier.
Yes. Who knows if there's water? And we've been joined by John. I don't know if he wanted to or not, but I just added him anyway. Hello, John. How are you?
Is it? This is Monty, isn't it?
Yeah.
No clue, man. It just Mr. Z texted me, and I thought it might be him calling. So it was you, man. How are you?
Good.
I've only had 3 chuckles so far. I want you to make me laugh.
Oh, gee, tough crowd.
Man, hang on. You understand that comedians are probably some of the greatest medical consultants you can get.
Yes.
Because the laugh from the gut and the stomach is just a wonderful healing process.
Yeah, yep. Endorphins. There's an element of control because it's very hard. When you're laughing extremely hard, it's hard to do anything because you're laughing. Even like you get to a point where the bladder says, I can't hold it anymore. And while you're laughing, the bladder goes fine and it's released. It's always fun to make someone's drink come out of their nose. That's always good.
That's
where
the best.
Yeah, I always split out my drink when you tell a joke. It's like, well, you're always drinking, so I mean, like if I'm telling a joke, yeah, good times. Mind you, who knows with Melbourne being, it could be a regressive woke area, but if I write the right material, it's the last week of the comedy festival, so give it about a month, and then the comedy scene will level out again. So I'll venture out and try and be centrist and see how it goes. Because, doing comedy to a half-empty room with 20 people, that's fame, living the dream.
Living the dream.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could end up on morning radio, but it's like, well, do I want to?
You got to get up at 5 a.m. for that. Did you see that stuff about NFT, non-fungible tokens, and digital art and stuff like that? Digital art being sold for $69 million. A dude holds a whole range of art. You have an NFT? No.
No. Oh, well, that's one thing about it just reminded me of former Vice President Joe Biden. During his speechy announcement thing about common sense gun laws, which make no sense at all, but he keep calling the is it the Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearm Division, the AFT. He got the letters wrong. Yeah, it's like, really, when will someone actually point out that something's wrong with him medically? I mean, it's not there.
Somebody rang in. I just added them. I don't 180 number.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Mystery caller. Who's that, and where you at?
Not so much a mystery.
Oh,
Daryl, Wonderful man.
Oh, yes, Daryl.
Thank you, John Wayne.
Oh, you're welcome. I just don't recognize numbers. I don't have a digital memory like that. But go ahead.
It just bums me out. I missed the first hour on one of my favorite shows.
There's the archives, as well as my YouTube channel, Wafer Thin Entertainment. If you enjoy what I do, there's a PayPal button there, and every little bit helps, because it'll help me with rent, which means I can continue doing the show, because it's very hard to get Wi-Fi when you're on the street. So, yeah, just putting it out there. So, but yeah, well, according to John, he laughed 3 times. I've laughed 8 times. So it's a matter of perspective, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
no wrong answers.
No, there's just what you want to put out there, man, and drop the barriers and get it out there. And geez, man, I don't laugh much anymore, and I tried the old comedy, but some of your lines are just so damn funny if you actually understand the innuendo underneath them. But that's comedy anyway.
Yeah, I went for a niche market of like, you've got the alternative media, and I'll go for the ones that have a sense of humor. So that's like 15% of the alternative. Why are you being funny? Because David Icke said, why would you want to be sane in an insane world? Go ahead, John.
Well, I think it was 1998. I tried a comedy club at Banjo's in North Melbourne.
Okay.
It might have been before your time.
Yes.
But dude, comedy is a hard act to crack. You've got a core group that will come out to the clubs and listen, and everybody else wants to hear it over internet or news or anything to have a joke.
Yeah, and that
it's killed the live component of it.
Yes and no. It's redefined, but I understand it's very hard. It's perception as well, because there's the comedy festival, which is in its 3rd and last week right now, and they have the gala, which is it's like a sample pack of comedians, and they show the 2-hour version of that usually on television. And there are people that know there's comedy all year in Melbourne. Then there's people that think there's only comedy during the festival, and then there's some people that think the 2-hour gala is the comedy festival, and it's kind of hard. And because people either go to the football or go see a band. They're not used to seeing comedy. And then you have the quality of acts and material. From a performer's point of view, you try and write Marco Polo comedy, which means it goes everywhere, and not local references like, Eastland. What's all that about? But also at a level where there's crowds that they turn up where they want to laugh. Then you have, which are quite easy, but the crowds that you're like, okay, make me laugh. They're interesting because you have to have material which makes people laugh.
I get no respect. No respect.
It's hard to not laugh. But
Eagle and then Daryl.
Did I get the memo that Caitlyn Jenner is running for governor of California?
Yes. But, don't let her try.
BJ always wanted to be a CJ, it looks like. And they're using that in the political transition. I mean, it's happening more and more. This was our example case. I'll bet you any money the way Mr. George Bush got elected for governor, I'll bet you she's going to slide in there too. Just watch.
Yeah, but what's she done? No, we're respecting the entity that has the last name Jenner, but what has she done? Like, apart from maybe
that's why. That's why.
Maybe by that, maybe by the luck of God, by that time the whole state or whatever it is over there just slides off into the ocean.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Yeah, you're at that point of reality where it's like, California could have an earthquake. Yeah, I'm hoping for it.
or Arizona could be oceanfront. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bill Hicks, Arizona Bay. Just Southern California. Northern California is quite nice, except for Silicon Valley. Go ahead, sir.
While John is here, I'd like to say hello, John. This is Eagle. I've been trying to get in touch with you for quite some time. So if you can hang on after the another 45, 50 minutes, we can talk about some stuff that might be quite interested to share with you about some of the stuff you're doing with farming in your orchards and some interesting conversations. So I was wondering if you wanted to do that, and also Cortek maybe too. So, or anybody else, but just laying it out there.
Eagle, yes, I'll certainly. My life is evolving around what's going on, our food production, what's being put away, the inflated prices the consumer's seeing for what I consider no valid reason, disinformation. Yeah, man, yeah, of course. If you don't have me on Skype, send a request, and I'm prepared to talk to anybody for the good reasons.
Yeah, Planet Collingwood, we're so transparent. Instead of using the private chat on the call, we'll just voice it all on radio. So everyone say, "Oh, they're recording you." Well, I record it, and it's archived, and I put it up on YouTube. I'm fine.
Well, Monty, I think there's only two of you left. There's yourself and Dave and Mackie.
Yeah, I think we're the Australian.
Well, I think you're the only two Australians left on the show.
Yeah. So yeah, there's three Australians holding the fort, and
the pony left. We lose the pony.
He pops on for. He's a intermittent roundtable host sometimes.
You guys are going to be coming over here. You guys over there in Australia are going to be coming over here and getting inside Fort Apache when it all goes down, right? And helping us defend the fort. Come on now.
No. Of course. Of course.
Well, actually, we've got a side quest. All I can say is Pine Gap. Yeah, so we have to go to the middle and take over that jump. Well, there's a jump room in Pine Gap, so yeah, we can pop in.
My major target at the moment is Daniel Andrews.
Yes, a quick catch-up.
He must go. It's like, every country in the world has a Dan.
Yes.
And it's not Dan the man, and he might think he's part of the Israelites Dan tribe, but he's got to go.
Well, yeah. Now the official story, he's actually on sick leave because the official story is he slipped on some tiles or a set of 4 stairs and landed on his back. And I'm just wondering if it's instant karma because he's the leader of Victoria. He's the premier of Victoria, and he put Victoria in 200 days of lockdown last year, and then the universe caught up with him. It's like, you're going to treat your people like crap? I'm just going to put this grape and, you've fallen. Oh, geez, he's landed on his back. He's cracked a rib. This is terrible.
I agree, Monty. Most people won't say it, but I suggest maybe an interdimensional gave him a push down the stairs.
Yeah, I just realized I could do a sketch about I haven't done a sportscaster like that for a while, and like I could do that about sketches. It's like, Joe Biden walking up the stairs, and here's the president of the United States. He's walking up some velvet. Like, oh geez, he's tripped. Oh, he's tripped again. Oh, this is terrible for the young man. Oh, he's not doing well. Oh, he's fallen, and he's touched his leg, and now he's running up and getting inside the plane to suck on his thumb. Oh, geez. Fantastic.
Go back and get the footage.
Boy. Yeah, basically it's Daryl Eastlake.
Didn't Jim Carrey play in a Mask movie, or was that Cher? What was the Mask movie?
Well, it's called The Mask, and I'd like to point out that's not pre-programming. That is an offensive racist film, and that's one of twice that Jim Carrey does green face. Why isn't he being cancelled? Eh? He did the Grinch as well. This green face needs to stop.
Like the governor, yeah. Green face.
Well, no, unless he's a Trudeau. Go ahead, Daryl.
I'll tell you someone I've really lost faith with is Will Smith. It saddens me so to see who he is now. Over.
Yes, because he's it's so weird. Like Georgia, the state of Georgia in the United States, because there's a Georgia in Russia, and it's like, yeah, that would have freaked Bugs Bunny out. Wait a minute, I did turn left at Albuquerque. This is the wrong Georgia. What's going? They've got they changed the voting laws to, I think, make sure they're more secure. That's a whole side different question. Voter ID is racist. Shut up. You've just insulted everybody because apparently they can't find the DMV in 2021. They moved, like the All-Stars baseball match, whatever it is, they moved it to Colorado, which I think has worst voter ID laws. It's just complete. It's totally virtual signaling horse hockey where, it's like Georgia's doing this because it's racist. It's like, no, it's not. You need ID. Like, if you want to get on a plane, you need ID. If you need to drive a car, you need ID. If you need to buy alcohol, you need ID. Not for voting. And the thing is, voting ID is racist. Yeah. So you're telling me, and did you see there was small videos? Joe Biden basically said that, blacks and Hispanics don't know how to use the internet. And these brilliant comedic geniuses basically reenacted the start of 2001, where they're hitting a laptop and yeah, and it's like what's this computer thing? And they weren't taking the piss out of like, blacks are monkeys, and it's like, you're an idiot. But they were just they're making fun of Joe Biden because it's Neanderthal thinking to think that in 2021 all these people have no idea how. Also, if you don't know where the DMV is, ask an adult. Like, you'll be said they're free and everything else like that. You can't use it. They have a phone. Even the immigrants coming up from South America have better shoes and phone than I do. Go ahead, Daryl.
I was going to say, on the opposite side of that world is Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that man.
This is the level of stupidity.
What's he doing?
Well, apparently, what Mr. Stallone said, he played golf at Mar-a-Lago, which is owned by Trump, and that's a hanging offense. They're trying to cancel Sylvester Stallone because he played golf where Trump was. He also bought a big ass house
not very far from where Trump is living. Or
yeah, but
Adrian.
That's basically the level of the wokeness. They're trying to cancel people because, oh my God, did he play golf where Trump plays golf? That is so wrong. I heard Trump's from Scotland, so Scottish people need to be put in dark holes. I'm sorry. But,
well, I mean, they're turning everything upside down, and everything that was wholesome and good is now vile and evil. I mean, I don't get it. Like I was saying there, we talked a little bit before the broadcast, and I said, hey, man, we took a wrong turn somewhere back there.
Yeah.
We need to get off on the next exit, go across the overpass, and then come back down around, and then head back the other way. Because where we're going, just it's no good. No good.
No, and it's just
so many people who were brought up on South Park, they were not buying it.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Like, did you remember? It's dropped off now because it's completely stupid. But apparently, mathematics is racist because 2 + 2 = 5. I'm like, have you been reading 1984 again, or that episode from Star Trek: The Next Generation? There are 4 lights. That's the mentality of how to and triggered people. You put 2 + 2 is 4. I was like, forgetting the fact that the Middle East created those symbols and gave the numbers. Did you know? And I'll be very quickly. Did you know the numbers are based on the angles, and the amount of angles is how you get the number. Like 2 has 2 angles. 3 has 3 angles. 7 with the cross beam has 7 angles. 8 has, and so on and so forth. Say no.
How many fingers do you see?
There are 4 lights. Now, Winston, tell me, how many fingers? Yeah, it's that. Yeah.
In South Park, they always blamed it on Kenny.
They blamed what?
I mean, come on.
Hey,
Everything.
It was a sad day. It was a sad day when they quit killing Kenny.
I mean, what? What did he do?
I never got into any of that, and I don't know what it is. I just
it's just an adult cartoon.
Yeah, well, I know this, but I mean, that's just I've always just not ever been attracted to any of that for whatever reason. Same thing with sports, right? And I don't know. It's like ever since I've been young, I just want to find out the truth to the world. Like, how does this thing operate?
Well,
why does it operate? What does it operate on?
I'm going to pick the first 8 seasons. Basically, it was gross out humor, but intelligent gross out humor. And around about, and chaps help me out here, it was like season 8, 9, or 10, they realized this is getting boring from their point of view, and they've swapped it into social commentary. And so you don't have to watch. They're up to 22 seasons. The next time they just did the vaccine episode. They're doing specials. If you look into it and if you get the humor, you'll also spot the social commentary that they do, because they don't pick a side. That's talking about comedy earlier, where after hearing Orange Men bad for 6 years, it's like comedy's boring. But with South Park, they kind of show both sides and they make fun of both sides, so you're not aware of where they're coming from.
Yeah, they keep reasonably impartial with that and try to double speak a lot of the things, and and no one could really charge with anything, sue them for anything legally.
Right.
But what they do things like there was some case of a man and a woman saying that their child had been kidnapped or something, not the English one or whatever in Spain, but another one, and they were doing pictures of these guys, so they had the pictures of the people, and those people were in a crowded situation, but the way they cut it, while they were saying "you killed that child" kind of thing, they cut to the crowd, to these two, to the two people. So the commentary was they were saying that these people did it and got away with it, but would never be able to be proven that they were kind of saying that in court. It's really clever how they do it. They're so clever.
Their philosophy on comedy is there are no sacred cows. Everything is up for to be made fun of. And they basically do it. They actually did an episode. They showed the Prophet Muhammad but Comedy Central blurted out. So like, we're not taking that chance. If it pops up, like the latest stuff, even just watch the vaccine special, you'll see why. Because they've gone so like there's a running gag in one episode, like Tom Cruise is stuck in a closet. And it took me years to figure out, okay. It's just, they're more social commentary now, and they hit the ground running. It's fantastic. Sorry, I stepped on you there, John.
No, I'm all right. I was just, I lost what I was thinking about saying, but, is there any possibility? I probably know the answer to this, but I'm just going to pose the question anyways. That intelligence agencies have infiltrated the production of some of these things to, use as a sly form of propaganda. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's go wide. Let's go wider and say, how much of TV is compensated by the government to put little messages in here and there.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Wow, hang on. We're the same. I wondered where my other life was. I'm my other life, and so is my wife. That just made me funny. I think South Park, no, because they're very close-knit, and they've got a small company, and they make their episodes in a week.
I'd say them definitely not.
Yeah, but if you go up a level to the Comedy Central, they may have an agent in there. As Joe Rogan has pointed out, there isn't. It's more of a culture that's being taught to people, and they can see, it's not about the money, it's about the message. And so they're virtue signaling. So everyone's trying to tick boxes and like, look what we're doing. We're saving the planet because we've got a gay First Nation Canadian that has superpowers and is a midget and is missing a leg. And it's like, oh, you mean Wolverine? Oh, just shut up. There's a culture for it. It's not is it Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird, where there was
that never finished.
Yeah, that's probably still going on. And I think Obama, this is what I find fascinating. Like, it's brought up in the alternative media, obviously, but they made it legal for propaganda. Obama signed in, or the bill where like, you can use propaganda. I'm like,
and it's got a really mundane name as well.
Yeah, really.
It's got two guys' names. You could never find it if you were doing it with those search terms.
How could you?
Schmidt Mundak.
Schmidt Mundak. That's it.
Yeah. We're in a free country, but you're allowed to use propaganda.
Yeah, that wasn't a great decision.
Yeah. Well, look at the stuff they were rolling out, like damn Christmas catalogs with everybody in the catalog wearing a damn mask. Come on.
Yeah, the mask is going to save you. Yeah, I've seen someone actually do a screen by screen comparison of Washington Post. Pause for laughter. I said Washington Post. Pause for laughter. They actually had an article saying, the Spanish flu, people wore masks, but it was useless. And then 8 months later, everyone should wear a mask. And it's not based on science or journalistic investigation.
Every day.
I know.
Super tough.
And it's about supporting a narrative, like mask up. It's like, why?
So back to TV shows and stuff like that. There was a stage.
Cortek, can we just pause because I think Daryl wants to share, and then we'll get back to TV. No, we'll get back to TV shows because I watch a lot of
it. I just wanted to say before we get too far away from the subject, I wanted to say that I used to love South Park, but I've gotten to the point where I can't stand it. But there is one that I have never gotten tired of, and I still love to this day, and that's Futurama. Over.
Oh yeah, the later seasons is the wokeness crept in, but the first 5 or 6 seasons are quite good, and it's just awesome humor, where Dr. Zoidberg, the one that looks like a crab, just goes up to a vendor on a beach and so like, give me one of your young on a roll. And it's a human. It's like, we're out of rolls. All right, give me something that may kill me. And he gives him some salmonella. I can't remember what episode that is, but I had to pause because I was crying from laughter. Give me one of your young on a roll. We're out of rolls.
Hey, you just reminded me of something I wanted to mention. Is remember when Trump got trashed for mentioning about taking chlorine.
Yes.
I mean, he was doing a joke. But everybody turned serious on him. But what I did not know at the time is pretty much exactly 1 year before then is the band 21 Pilots sang a song, and the name of the song was Chlorine. And it just freaking struck me like awestruck that song, it just hit just home with me when that thing happened with Trump and them giving crap about chlorine. And here almost exactly 1 year before then, 21 Pilots sang a song called Chlorine. Over.
Well, interesting enough, around that time, Trump was actually made fun of the fish tank cleaner, the chlorine, whatever it was. He made a joke, but some idiots thought you ingest fish tank cleaner without going to a doctor, and then they blame the president. It's like, that's you. You take responsibility for your free will, as well as, and then I'll get to Eagle because he's chomping at the bit. Hey. B. This may take a while. C. Also, at the same time, Trump was mentioning about UV, ultraviolet light. And everyone's like, oh, he's just being silly now. And then, a week later, you see these ultraviolet light does kill germs because they have like car washes, but it's for light. And these ambulance and stuff go in there and then bombarded by ultraviolet light because germs can't survive in that frequency. Yeah. And it's just you can just see the biasness of the media.
Well, the thing is part of the lyrics that 21 Pilots sang in that song was the quote, drinking straight chlorine was part of the lyrics. Over.
Yeah, that's what silly people do. It's an interesting.
Go eat a Tide Pod. I'm messing around. People will do some really stupid stuff, man. They really will.
Well, the whole Tide Pod it wasn't eat Tide Pods. It was more of you put it in because that plastic is designed to dissolve when there's moisture, and so you put the Tide Pod in your mouth and then you take it out again before it pops. And it popped in one guy's mouth, and he just spent the next 30 minutes spitting it out. It's like, you do know that's dishwashing clothes, laundry liquid, and but still, what level of mentality is like? Hey, I know what we can do. Well, what can we do? We can put washing liquid in our mouth till we can spit it out. All right. Can I go first? That sounds like fun. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like sucking on a gel cap liquid vitamin.
Well, yeah, chewing on a blasting cap. Bang! Oh, I think I need to go see the dentist. And maybe a doctor. I have no feeling in the right side of my face.
Right. I mean, seriously. There's people that have literally lit firecrackers, holding them in their teeth. What the hell are you thinking?
Oh,
yeah. Just trying to get a cheap laugh.
So the Democrats, if you remember, we want to lower the age to 16, and then someone showed footage of a 16-year-old. He wanted to skateboard or rollerblade, or he was going to stand on wheels, and the idea was that he would be on fire, like flames, like Katniss in the Hunger Games, where her clothing is a form of being on fire. But the thing is, they just got raw gasoline / petrol, poured it on his jeans, and then lit it. And when they finally caught up to him, I think they will be able to put it out. And it's like, you want these people to vote? Yeah, right.
There was a guy who did that in New South Wales somewhere. It was a kind of a stunt off some kind of toilet block, and he did assemble, 2 or 3 mattresses down the bottom, and he got on this bike and he was doused with whatever metho or something like that. I don't know, could have been petrol, and he started to pedal. fire and burnt through the tires at that stage, so he could get much traction. And so he was edging towards the edge of this toilet block. He finally went off and totally missed the mattresses because he wasn't going fast enough. It was just the biggest train wreck.
Sounds funny.
A good example to others, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do this. Now, you've heard of the Darwin Awards, where some cheeky sod created these awards for idiots that kill themselves. They're actually helping the gene pool of like the stupid has been removed. I don't know if it's true or not, but I like the story, so I'm going to tell you it. One of the winners of the Darwin Awards is a guy trying to commit suicide. It sounds a bit farcical, so I don't think it's true or not. But still, he was on the top of a cliff. He tied a rope around his neck. He had a shotgun, and he took a lot of sleeping pills, like a lethal dose of sleeping pills. Now, he jumped off the cliff while he was going to shoot the gun at the same time. He jumps off the cliff, shoots the rope, jumps into the water. It's cold, and throws up the sleeping pills, and dies 2 weeks later from hypothermia.
Wow.
So
I don't know. I think that's
probably right. I don't know.
He got there in the long run. I don't think it actually happened, but I like the story. It's like, you could try it so many ways.
What a spate of events, eh?
Yeah, I wanted to kill myself. It's like, well, it may take a while.
I like the guy who tries to test out how thick the safety glass is on the 40th floor. So I can run at this full pace. Watch. Here, stand back. Move these chairs and tables. I'll get a run up.
Well, it's kind of like the movie rating service. Rotten Tomatoes got their start, from that movie. Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah, and now they've gone completely woke, where because there's that popular and famous that they're altering scores because it doesn't fit their narrative.
Well, the agency's got to get involved.
Yeah. Oh, there's money involved, and it's basically Rotten Tomatoes has lost all credibility now because something crap comes out, and the critics are like, 96% of the critics like it, and then the general public get it, and it's down to 20%. And if you notice that a lot of movies now, like, this is fantastic, this is the best thing I've seen all year, and we see it like, I've seen more excitement in watching grass grow or paint drying on grass.
Back in the 80s, me and a good buddy of mine, we figured it out. Spiegel and Ebert, the one passed away, but
yes.
We figured out watching their ratings. Whenever they said a movie was bad, we knew the movie was good. And when they said the movie was good, we knew it wasn't worth a shit. Or
yeah, what movie was it where they were completely wrong? I don't think it was Star Wars. It was something else. I think it was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. They've gone, this is just terrible.
Yes.
And then about 5 years later, we were wrong.
Exactly. That is burned in my memory like crazy. They confessed. They admitted that they were wrong, and they said, well, this guy is pretty good after all.
Hey, we can't
because
get him right all the time.
Always downgraded his movies.
Yeah.
And then finally, they admitted that they were wrong.
Yeah, the second Ace Ventura is not as good, and I didn't connect to the cable guy where he got paid. He was the highest paying actor, where $20 million for a movie, and I watched it like, and I don't know.
Well, better. Then too, you got to look at like possibilities of what was going on like the global stage at the time too, because there could be innuendos within these movies that are addressing to, hey man, this is that sign we were told to watch for. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it was like mid-90s. Now, the 90s are weird because that's when, the baby boomers had their Summer of Love in '69, and then at a Rolling Stone concert, one of the bouncers, which was the Hells Angels, killed a punter. That kind of ended the Summer of Love. But for Generation X, the 90s was where we sort of came out of teenagehood and young adults. And we had grunge and we didn't care and everything was depressive. So like, oh crap. It was a strange swing from the 60s were peace, love, and harmony, and moving forward. The 70s were the 70s. It was half 60s, but oil crisis, and it was a flip. And then the 80s was all about greed, and then the 90s was grunge music and disenfranchised, and then you had the Y2K. So it's kind of interesting now where millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Ys attack Generation X, and we're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, groovy.
In the good old days, we used to. Oh,
yeah,
Daryl.
They don't understand.
No, go ahead, Eagle. Go.
In the good old days, we used to listen to a band called the Stone Temple Pilots. Mm-hmm. And on a summer day, we used to play that. And they had a song that we used to call, we used to rename it, but you brought up a song called Chlorine. I never heard of that one, but they had a song called Vaseline.
Yep.
And kind of like going through the times, you know, it was almost like you were feeling good, but they were kind of letting us that we were kind of getting stuck, like, you know, stuck in the honey, you know, kind of not moving, you know.
Yes.
I mean, what's up with that? You know, I mean, do you remember the Stone Temple? I mean, they got some good stuff.
They're not a Led Zeppelin clone, but they like Led Zeppelin, so that's part of their writing makeup. And Scott Weiland was a heroin user, so that made things difficult. However, when they first came out, they had from the Australian point of view, the song "Plush" off their first album, Core. Mm-hmm. Everyone thought,
I like
my
the
God,
acoustic better.
Yeah, the acoustic's so much better, yeah. But when it came out, we saw the video, and it's like, Eddie Vedder looks weird with pink hair, because it sounded like the next Pearl Jam, but it was Stone Temple Pilots. But he had a very unique voice. I've actually seen, I've got, there was like, they did a best of, and it comes with a DVD. The CD scratched the buggery, but the DVD is like 3 hours long. It's just got all this stuff. But he sings, is it Creep? One of those like sing along where Half the Man I Used to Be, whatever that one is. But he gets carried out into the middle of the floor, surrounded by all these people, and I think it's an acoustic part of the set, and the entire room is singing the song, and it just gives you chills. It's like, oh, nowadays, and also not a phone in sight, just a bunch of people.
That's what the 90s were good for, crowd surfing.
Well, I mean, look at like, you know, Green Day, and I don't know the exact name of the song, but it's like the best years of your life or something. It was like a really popular graduation song, and you know, like you listen to it now, and it put off a completely different vibe then when we were younger. But you listen to it now, and it's got a completely different resonation with it, and like with current events and growing up, knowing more than what we knew then, you know, all that kind of stuff. And
I've actually seen a crowd was waiting for Green Day to go on stage, and they were playing Queen, and Bohemian Rhapsody started playing, and there's footage of the entire crowd singing the song.
How's that Queen concert, though, in Russia or over some Eastern European state or something like that, where they have the biggest concert kind of ever? And there's it's in that latest kind of Queen movie, but they just kind of turn everything off, and you hear that many people singing the same thing. It's incredible when that many people collaborate on anything, you know.
Oh yeah, and that's part of.
I just wanted to say right quick, Chlorine was not put out by Stone Temple Pilots. It was put out by 21 Pilots.
We know.
Well, I mean, that's not what...
Controversy!
No, 21 Pilots reminded him of Stone Temple Pilots. That was the connection.
Oh, okay. I got lost there, I guess.
No, that's all right.
Well, you know, I mean, like with all these different groups like this, I mean, is it not too far to say it's kind of like another Laurel Canyon type? You get what I'm saying, or is it truly
John.
wholly totally
that's the
generic?
segue? Mm-hmm. Well, that's where we're going.
Well, who knows? I just realized, how many words are in the English language a band's going to run out of. Like, I mean, there's a band called I Wrestled a Bear Once. They're not pop, let's be fair. But it's fascinating. I mean, Metallica is a made-up word.
It's like everyone must come up to that band and just say, what happened?
Yeah, like,
hey,
did you?
You know what? Beans, Bill Cosby went to prison. I think Green Jelly needs to have their name back. They should get their Green Jello name back. Over.
Yeah, wasn't that Green Jello? That's the thing. Like, Jello is a brand name of jelly. And I know that you call jam and conserve jelly as well. And so when I first heard, peanut butter and jelly, I'm like, why would you have a dessert with peanut butter and bread? But it's actually jam. And then I thought, why would you have jam with peanut butter and bread?
I still never tried it.
I mean, well, it gets all back to like wordplay, right? For whatever reason, there's a reasoning behind the transitioning of words for whatever time that we're in. And one thing that I picked up on lately is like, the term jail has been switched out for detention center. Like you get the application of what I'm saying. So,
even the spelling of it as well, because it used to be goal, but that G used to be that jail. It's just the old English where goal is actually spelled jail.
Jail kind of sounds impartial, like you could be being held in jail if you were just being detained to see if you were guilty or not, where a detention center is definitely,
they changed the wording so they can hide the energy behind it type thing. Did we say death camps? We mean happy fun camps. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
It's not just jail the way it's spelled. Whether you spell it with a J or a G. It's spelling, which is a spell.
Yeah, it's that simple. The English language, ladies and gentlemen, all the information's in the titles. It's spelling. There's grammar, which is from Grammarchron. And that's why I'm a terrible wizard. My spelling sucks.
Hey-o.
Hello. But yeah, it's spelling in the way word thing, and it's just I'm trying to think of an example where, but now it's getting ridiculous where you spell women with an X because it's you remove men from the word because it's the patriarchy.
Dude, I just did a revision for some of the courses for management skills through universities and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so convoluted now, I don't even know what to tell the students. Because there's no Mr., Mrs., the whole gender thing.
Oh, yeah.
This is a giant problem.
Yes. Very quickly, here in Victoria, they're doing the whole PC thing of non-gendification of the language. So you can't say mother, father, sister, daughter, son, and all that type of crap. And it's dehumanizing.
It's the visceral destruction of the fabric of society as we've known it for thousands of years.
Yeah, and then
it does seem like that.
And then you get to Spanish, where it's totally gendified because of the way that the language is built, where it's you say a word one way it means male, and another way it means female. And what the hell is a Latinx?
I can't answer that.
Well, instead of saying Latino or Latin, it's like our now.
Where does this phrase Latinx come from?
Where did you see? In the United States, it's like the Democrats and everything else. Like it's just virtue signaling, PC, justice warrior crap, woke morons. Where it's not Latino or Latin anymore; it's Latinx. And even Stephen Crowder went around Texas asking Latino, people of Latin extraction, which is just basically Spanish, because it's meaning Latin, Latin. But yeah, it's because it's racist or sexist or something. It's so ridiculous they're changing language because Being an insult for white people is being called a colonizer because of Black Panther.
To tie that together, like okay, so the white man, the colonizer, okay, the Latinx, those who came and literally bred out the white populations of the United States. We know that's what they want to do. That's what they've planned on doing. I don't have to say they or who exactly, because by God, I wouldn't want to have to utter a word that starts with J and get backfire from anybody. But they admit that that's what they're doing. So to call it Latinx compared to the colonizer, hey.
It does have a kind of porno kind of ring to it.
Which one? Latinx or colonizer?
Not colonizer.
Colonize you, baby.
They want to, Time Magazine ran an article cover a few years ago. I've never been able to find it again. And it showed a Hispanic white baby with green eyes. And it said, "This is the future of America."
I know that picture. Incredible piercing eyes.
If that right there at that point in time, however long ago that was, I can't even remember what year it was. I saw that Time Magazine cover, but you can't find it now. You really can't. I've searched high and low for it. That at that point in time showed that that's the plan that they have for this country. This is before the mass land invasion from the Sahel area of Africa and the Middle East into, I believe so.
Is that her?
Yeah, I think so. Either that one, or it was a younger child than that. But it said, literally that's what they have planned for the United States. And this is, like I said before, what's took place in and still is taking place in Europe. It's going to happen here in the States, and that, man, I was right. It is. It's happening right now.
It's
and
unnatural.
It is unnatural, but it is also natural. I mean, look, the Europeans came here and pushed the natives off of the land. Somebody was here before the natives came here, and the natives pushed them off of the land. This is a reoccurring thing. It's just how our humanity species is.
Yeah.
Take it. What I meant to say. Sound like a politician. What I meant to say. I read the Bible. What God meant to say was, Bill Hicks. Yay. That it's forced evolution in that respect, where they're forcing it. Naturally, it would happen. Naturally. What a sentence. It would happen naturally where eventually things would join, we're all related and produce a version of humanity where we're a mixture. But that's the thing about globalization. Globalization and one world government, bear with me here. Don't throw your coffees at your
I got my tomato ready.
Yeah, take it out of the can, you bastard.
I'll put it down.
It will happen naturally. It could take another 2,000 to 3,000 years where we are all working to one. We're all humanity. We all get along. We decided that some people like olives on pizza. Some people like pineapple on pizza. Some people
think pineapple's acceptable on pizza, stuff like that.
And some people like anchovies. They're wrong, but we allow it. But with the globalization,
so good.
But with the bags of salt, that's all it is. But with the globalization that's being pushed forward, it's been inflicted, it's unnaturally been put forward, and there's a controlling mechanism and a dark agenda behind it. If they allowed things to happen naturally, where can you imagine the United States without the Rockefellers? That's a good example. That photo of if we didn't ignore Nikola Tesla, we'll be living in a Jetson world. But because he got screwed over by Westinghouse, we have this one. It's that type of thing.
Well, did he?
Well, I wasn't there.
Well, I challenged the Tesla information.
Go on.
And I will.
Legally.
Why is Tesla not... Sorry?
No, go on. I thought you meant you were going to legally challenge him.
Yeah, I will challenge the Tesla information. And have you looked at the experiments he did on wild animals and especially elephants?
No.
Well, that's what Edison did. But unfortunately, we've got 1 minute.
No, who did it?
Edison did
Who
it.
actually performed the experiment?
Not Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, and yet on the film, it's Edison frying an elephant to prove that Tesla's stuff doesn't work. So maybe Tesla did it originally, but Edison did it to show that alternative current was worse than DC current.
Or maybe Tesla was employed by Edison at that point.
I cannot prove it yet, but I'm very close.
All you need is an elephant.
Tesla invented nothing. All he did was reverse engineer technology, ancient technology that came from his father in the Coptic Church and his grandfather. Research it. Tesla's story is not quite true, even in our world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and the interesting thing is, Edison is a lying scumbag as well. So,
and everyone who stole his research afterwards probably would have been having campaigns to try and print stories to cover that up.
There's probably that element as well. But also with Edison, it helps when you work at a patent office. Like, I invented this, and then Edison's like, no, you didn't. I did.
And then you've got people like the Rothschilds and other, elites trying to get in on something to make a buck, because those who have the most shekels are the most important, I guess. From what I've heard.
Yeah, it reminds me of my Tesla joke where Nikola Tesla said, "Look, I invented free energy," and then J.P. Morgan said, "No, you haven't." So there you go, a bit of history for you. We're coming up.
MH370 was a big grab for us stuff.
Well, yeah, that's for another time because we're at the end of the show, according to my clock in Roman numeral time. That was Planet Collingwood. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours. I believe I'm doing a comedy show with Andrew Bartzis on Friday at 6 p.m., which is like 8 a.m. at my time.
Where can we see that? Your channel?
Galactic Historian channel on YouTube. My YouTube is a Wafer Thin Entertainment. The replay of that comedy show goes up a week later.
Why can't you stream it at the same time?
Because I would like to get it a week later.
Okay. That sounds great. We will wait a week. No.
Well, or you can go to the Galactic Historian. Just send money. There's usually music right now. What's happened? You've broken the internet. So big thank you to Bruce MacDonald, John Wayne, not the actor, Eagle Eye, Cortek, Big John, and Daryl. Passing thoughts or comments, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to share them? Or great radio.
Thanks for having me on.
What do you want? Warnings, things to look out for. Keep your eyes on the volcano activity and the Earth movements.
Yes, the placement of the moon.
We have an event coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to ride it out. Cortek, stick around if you can. Anybody else? John, for sure.
I can't. I've got things I've got to do today.
Okay. It's really good to hear from you, John.
So, Eagle Eye, you're doing an after party?
Yeah. If that's great, yeah.
All right.
Would like someone to join.
I'll hand the baton. Because on the YouTube, I'm going to cut it now.